you ever been in a situation where you got some feedback from someone that you thought was wrong, 100% inaccurate, maybe even offensive, and you thought, I didn't need that feedback? Well, I'm going to tell you a crazy story today of a moment I got feedback like that. It actually got published in the newspaper. I'm going to tell you what I did, what I learned, and the 4 things that my mentor taught me that changed everything. Because I truly believe the way you handle feedback can make a massive difference in your success. You know, as leaders, we know how to give, and we're trained how to give good feedback, constructive criticism. It's an important part of being a leader, but no one ever trains us on how to receive feedback. And my mentor taught me these 4 things, and I know for sure that if you know these 4 things, that you're going to be better at receiving feedback as well. My name is John Boggs. I am the founder of the Business and Leadership Division of the Brave Thinking Institute, where I also serve as the CEO. And today we're talking about, as a leader, how to effectively receive feedback. So to set this story up, it's important to know that I lived and worked in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico for 23 years. I moved there in 1991. From the day that I got there, I fell in love. I fell in love with the beaches and the sun and the 5-star resort that I was working at. The entire deal was just awesome. But mostly, I fell in love with the people and the culture, the generosity, the smiles on their faces, what was in their hearts. It is an amazing culture in Mexico. In fact, I so much fell in love, I wound up falling in love with a Mexican woman, and I've got 3 Mexican children, and I lived there so long I wound up getting my Mexican citizenship, so I'm a dual citizen today. I love Mexico. And yet, even with that being the case, I'm living in there for a couple of years, and I get promoted to being a leader, and now I'm running a sales team. I've got 35 salespeople on this team, and they're from all over the world. It's a real international group. And there is only one way that I'm managing this team for our success, and that is based on our results. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, you got to produce results. It's a sales organization. Your sales results drive your success. And after a few months of leading this team, one day I get a phone call from the owner of the resort. He says, "Hey, John, I want you to know, don't worry about the article in the newspaper today." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, there is a negative article in the newspaper about our resort and about you. And I want you to know I'm not worried about it. I know what's in your heart. And while I have your back, this is yours to clean up." And I was devastated. I said, "Thank you," hung the phone up, went and got a newspaper. And the newspaper there was an article in there that was accusing me of being discriminatory in my hiring and training practices against Mexicans. Now, I knew in my heart that was 100% not the truth. I was only about the results. Someone obviously was feeling vindictive. Maybe I had fired someone that didn't have the results, but they wanted to blame it on race, whatever it was. And I was furious. Now, thank God at that time I had a good mentor in my life. So I took this situation that afternoon to my mentor and I said, "Listen, this article was written, it's wrong, and I want to know how to handle it." And my mentor taught me 4 keys, 4 things. And I want to say to this day, I'm so grateful to him and for these 4 lessons that you can use, because I truly believe that the success I developed came from how I handled that moment. It was a critical moment in my leadership. So the first thing, here's the first key. My mentor said, "John, no matter how inaccurate you think it is, you think it's 100% inaccurate, let me challenge that. No matter what the circumstance, situation, or condition is, we have a part. So I want you to focus not on the part that's inaccurate, but on what the grain of truth might be. It can be 99.9% inaccurate, but what's the 1/10 of 1% grain of truth in this experience? You wouldn't be in this experience if you didn't have a part. So ask yourself this question tonight: what is my part? What is my part? So I got quiet, I got still, and I asked myself, what's my part in this? And while I didn't believe I was discriminatory or I was racist, the truth is I was harsh, I was difficult at times, and you might even say that my leadership style in my early 20s was a little brutal. And so I wasn't as kind and compassionate and caring in my communication style as I could be. And I could see how someone might misinterpret my communication style as racist or discriminatory because I wasn't expressing the most effective communication style. So I took that back to my mentor and I said, here's the deal. While the truth of the matter is I'm all about the results, I'm not that skillful at times in the way I communicate. And he said, great, then here's the second step. Once you know what your part is, you want to ask yourself, what adjustment would be good for me and my team? And I said, well, to learn how to communicate better, to learn how to communicate with more compassion, with more kindness, with more empathy for people. That would be a good thing. He said, great, now here's your job. Get in front of your team, gather your team, let them know that you're sorry for your part in what happened, apologize, own your part, and tell them what you're doing to fix it. I was like, no, come on, you're kidding, right? I mean, you don't expect me to gather my whole team and apologize even though I didn't do this. Yes, I do. I expect you to gather your team and own your part and tell them that you're working on it. And I was shaking in my boots as I did this. I gathered my team and I told them, listen, while I don't believe that article is accurate, I do believe that I have a part in why that article was written. I think that I haven't been communicating very well, that I'm harsh and I'm critical. And I can see how someone might interpret my communication the way they wrote in that article. And I want you to know that I'm dedicated to communicating in a way that's impossible to be misunderstood, to communicating with more empathy, more caring, more patience. Because even though none of you wrote that article, each one of you is also affected by the way that I communicate. And I want you to know I'm sorry for that. And I'm willing and dedicated to growing. And I'm super grateful for making that move because my team rallied behind me. I went on to have a 22-year career with that company. At the end, when I retired from that company, they hung a plaque on the wall and inducted me into their Hall of Fame. It was an amazing moment of facing them, owning my part. Step 3 is to make the needed improvements. I went on to get management training and communication training so that I could communicate better. Perfectly? No, not perfectly. Better? Yes, absolutely better. And how do I know? Because step 4 is to continue to get feedback. Continue to ask people, how am I doing? So in summary, here are the 4 keys. What's the grain of truth? What's my part? That's step 1. What's my part in this? What adjustments are needed that can help me learn from this moment? What adjustments are needed? Then go about creating a plan to make those adjustments and then ask for follow-up feedback. How are you doing? It doesn't matter whether you're a leader or you're someone working in an organization for a leader. Knowing how to take feedback and do something positive with it can make all the difference. Now, to finish the story, 10 years later, a gentleman walked into my office and was interviewing for a job. And about halfway through the interview, he said, John, I want you to know I'm back here applying for a job, even though I'm the one that wrote that article 10 years ago. I'm sorry for having written that article. It's not true. I was just angry, and I'm hoping that you'll forgive me. An amazing turn of events in the end to that story. So I hope you learn how to take great feedback. If you've got a story of receiving feedback, either good feedback or offensive feedback, I'd love to know what it is. It's now your turn. So if you would, share in the comments below. And if you're new to the community, let me say welcome. I'm glad you're here. You can go ahead and subscribe, follow, click like, share this video with someone that matters to you that you think would love to know how to take effective feedback. And until next time, remember, think bravely and act boldly.